And we've got more questions here for Five Springs Infused Bourbon and their founder, Lisa Sawyer Derman. And Lisa, you talk about were in this industry for a while. Things finally lined up that you could kind of, launch this brand. But like I said, you have quite a history in the spirits industry. How did you end up in this crazy alcohol world?
That's a great question. I think I got to give a shout out to my mother-in-law on this one because I was one of, I went to University of Kentucky. I was a math major. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to law school. I was like one of those like lawyers who didn't really want to be a lawyer. And I just happened to get a position as an attorney out of law school with a big national law firm that had a specialty in alcohol beverage law. And I started working in that division, and one of my first clients was Jim Cook. He had just started Boston Beer Company, and it was just such a thrill to kind of, again, be right there on the ground level with an entrepreneur who had an idea, a grandfather's recipe, and working with consumer products. I just loved the industry, and it's like highly, highly regulated. And I think like just my math and the regulations, and it was just a natural fit. And I remember at dinner one time with my mother-in-law, I was like, oh, should I be this specialized in alcohol beverage law? And she was like, absolutely. I think I was thinking about estate planning or tax, She's a tax lawyer. And she was like, yes, you're doing this. And one thing led to another, and I just was very, very fortunate to get a job as general counsel for Absolute, and that led to being the CEO of Stoli. And then most recently, I ran the commercial division for Macallan in the north and in Canada. And it was just I kind of like legal operations, commercial. I was like, all right, it's time for me to take all of those learnings and put it out there and create my own.
Well, I was going to say, what was it like to go out on your own and launch your own brand? Because like you said, there's a lot of legal hurdles in the alcohol space. It's not as simple as one might assume. It takes time and a lot of energy. So what was it like to, go out there on your own?
It was exciting. I have to say, it's just kind of like doing it at first, just very exciting. I had consulted and advised a lot of startups over the years, people with no industry experience at all, but just a passion and a dream and an idea for marketing. And so I do think it was probably easier for me as a startup because I knew all the legal. It's like the groundwork, the infrastructure. That's my bread and butter. So that part was just easy for me and a natural thing to do. What became more exciting really was just being able to really be involved with the creative side, with the packaging and the colors and the focus on the consumers. And, it's been a year project. We had the product development, and then it went into, okay, we know what we want our liquid and our juice to be, but now we've got to move on to what's our branding and who are we targeting and what do we want it to be. And I knew I wanted it to be something fresh and something that was appealing to the next generation, and something that, as much as I love bourbon and whiskey, I wanted it to not be like the saloon, out to the wild frontier. And that part was challenging just because I'd never done that aspect before and getting it right. But we were very, very fortunate to work with some incredible creatives who helped us see our vision. And just had a lot of support with amazing partners along the way to help us, fill in the gaps of those areas that I'm not as familiar with. So it's been an incredible project, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, and when you talk about all those fun things, even coming up with a name, Five Springs, where does that come from on this lovely bottle?
Yeah, Five Springs is actually a little community that I grew up in. So, I grew up in Kentucky, in Albany, Kentucky, Clinton County, Dry County, and we have a farm down there, and the farm is in the borough, like the community of Five Springs. So, it's like there's a Five Springs Road. My grandfather helped build the Five Springs Methodist Church. It's just always it just always felt like home for me. And then also there are five of us in the family, so we have three children, so it's like the five of us, and Springs just represented everything we were about, freshness, newness, new beginnings. Yeah, just we were down in Kentucky actually at our farm, because we had another name originally, that didn't work out, and my husband was like, I know you've got something else in mind. And we were at the farm, and I was like, Five Springs. I think that's what we should go with. And that's where we are.
Well, and now you've got, like I said, the three different expressions. You got the honey sage, vanilla maple, blood orange. Obviously, this is just the start. You're finally launching those three. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm guessing the goal is to get those out and about. But will there be more expressions maybe in the future? Wait and see. How does all that work for y'all?
Right now it's a little bit wait and see. We do have some other flavors that we've been thinking about. And the fact that the name is Five Springs, we're like, it could be a natural fit to have five flavors, five infusions. But right now it's really just about getting our marketing right, making sure that we're targeting the consumers the way, we need to be targeting them right. We've launched in Kentucky, and then, I currently live in New Jersey. And so we're focused on New Jersey and Kentucky. And so really the next steps for us would be more about expanding distribution, expanding our footprint. And then we'll see how it goes.
Well, I was going to say, that's the fun part, is seeing the reactions to this and being able to grow. Like you said, you're in the two states. So where can folks find Five Springs Infused Bourbon there?
So the easiest way right now is online. We're currently being sold through Reserve Bar, BottleRepublic.com. They're about, if you Google it, there are about 6 different sites that are selling it online. In Kentucky and New Jersey, we have been focusing on the local retail stores and some of the bigger communities in New Jersey. And in Kentucky, we're focusing on Louisville, Lexington, Owensboro. I mean, it's all over, but working with Kroger, working with Bottle King, Liquor Barn, where we should, hopefully everyone will see the products on shelf in all of those retailers, in the next coming months.
Well, that's exciting to see, and just in time for National Bourbon Heritage Month in September, right? Hopefully people be able to try something new.
I'll be heading down to Bardstown, Kentucky for the Bourbon Festival in September.
So a good chance for folks to see you then. And I was going to say, for those that might be, curious about it, but hey, I like my bourbon kind of the quote unquote old fashioned way of, maybe not the infused. What would you say to someone that might be intrigued but nervous to approach, something that's a little different?
I would definitely say give it a try. We were nervous about that also, and especially launching in Kentucky. It's like it's the bourbon capital of the world and purist, and we were a little bit nervous about that, but the reception that we received from bourbon purist has been so positive, because sometimes someone wants an after dinner drink, or doesn't happen to have all the things to make an old fashioned then and there, and this gives you that sense, is almost that cocktail with just a dash of bitters, even if you didn't want to add bitters. It's so close to an old fashioned as it is, that I feel like everyone that we were concerned about has been like, oh no, this is bourbon forward. It's not a liqueur with a splash of whiskey. It's bourbon with a hint of natural flavor, and I feel like everyone has been pleasantly surprised that it's not a sweet flavored whiskey that you might anticipate.
Well, like I said, when we've talked throughout, you put a lot of effort into it, from going to a high rye mash bill to, the proof point. You can tell you know what you're doing with a bourbon. And I can't wait to see what's next from y'all, Lisa, and where you go. And hopefully people give these a try, because I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but I'll just you know,
Cheers.
a little honey sage and tea.